Today, we are exploring Independence, Oregon, a super charming little town right alongside the Willamette River, just outside of Oregon state capital city of Salem. Independence might be small, but it is packed with history, super cute old brick buildings, and a very welcoming vibe that makes this place very special. In this video, we're going to take a closer look at what exactly makes Independence so special, from its livability in the real estate market to the cost of living, and the type of people who might enjoy living in Independence. My name is Clarity Odd, and I'm a local real estate agent who focuses on helping buyers relocate to Oregon. If you're moving to anywhere in Oregon, book a consultation with me so I can help you in your relocation journey. You can find all of my contact information down in the description below. Let's first get acquainted with where Independence, Oregon is located. This black circle here is Independence, Oregon. This red circle right here is the next largest city, which is where I live, called Salem, Oregon. And that distance between the two is about a 15 to 25 minute drive, depending on where exactly you reside in Independence. This purple circle up here is Portland, Oregon, which is about an hour's drive from Independence. Independence is just outside of Oregon's capital city of Salem and has a population of just about 10,000 people. So it is small, but it has really great energy. When you're walking throughout the historic downtown of Independence, you are going to see those small town vibes and charm right away. And I think it's what sets Independence apart from some of the other small towns around Oregon. There's this really nice blend of old school but with a modern touch. The downtown area is a huge draw with its brick buildings, its local shops, and its mix of restaurants that range from laid back to upscale, but small town upscale. And fun fact, way back in the day, Independence used to be called the hop capital of the world in the 1920s, which was like over 100 years now. That's insane. Independence is surrounded by hop farms, and this in itself drew the entertainment industry in, and the town became a filming location for a few different silent films. And not many people know about this connection, because who is watching silent films now? But it does add just a cool layer to this town's history and something that you don't see every day. And if you, my internet friend, are like, what the heck is a hop? Well, hops are the main ingredients in beer making. And here in the Willamette Valley, where Independence is located, they grow like weeds. It is insanity. Now, fast forward to today, the art scene is still alive in Independence, but in a slightly different way. There are movie screenings at the Riverfront Park during the summertime, and there are a ton of festivals that bring people in the community together throughout the entire year. So for anyone who loves those small town vibes with a really active community, Independence delivers. And overall, I feel like Independence does a great job of drawing people into the town to celebrate, and that's something that we don't see in all of the towns in Oregon. But Independence really likes to throw a party and likes to invite everyone in the surrounding community to come join that party. Independence also has a multi-day celebration around the 4th of July. They've got live music and of course great fireworks. So if that all-American small town vibe is your thing, Independence might just be your place. Another cool event that the city hosts is the Hop and Heritage Festival in September, which is celebrating the town's hop growing history. It is perfect for beer lovers who want to check out some local beers, live music, and even hop picking demos. Overall, it's just a really fun festival to go to if you want to learn more about beer and the hops that turn into beer. Another fun celebration that the town has is the Christmas parade and tree lighting ceremony. It's got that tight-knit community feel, especially if you are moving from a bigger city where events like this can feel a little bit disconnected and anxious and overwhelming with so many people. Overall, the town of Independence does just a fantastic job of bringing people into the town to celebrate all of the different seasons and festivities that we have here in Oregon throughout the entire year. And that brings me to my next point, that Independence is about 20 minutes away from the capital city in Oregon, which is called Salem. Salem is where I relocated to, and it's important to know that Independence feels like a bedroom community to the city of Salem. Because Independence is so close to Salem, you're going to find a lot of people who live in Independence, but they commute and work in Salem. And typically those who are wanting to live in a more small town, but they still want easy accessibility and convenience of being close to a larger city and those amenities, those are the people that really like the location and vibe of Independence. Independence does offer all of the daily amenities that you might need within the town. So you're going to be able to find all of your groceries, your gas, your shopping. You can do all of that in Independence. But if you're wanting a Costco run or Trader Joe's or Target or more robust shopping and dining options, likely you're going to be venturing into Salem to get those needs met. Overall, Independence is far enough away from Salem to feel much more chill and quiet, but it's still close enough that it's pretty easy to drive into Salem for work or just getting some errands done. Now let's talk about the weather and climate of Independence. Because Independence is located in the Willamette Valley region of Oregon, it means that we have generally mild weather overall. The winters are going to be mild, but they will be wet, and we are going to have a lot of days of overcast and rain. So prepare yourself for gloomy months for about 8 months out of the year. And no, I am not flubbing up on that number. It is rainy, wet, or gloomy about 8 months out of the year. One unique feature of Independence that I find to be so amazingly cool is that you will find fog in Independence. So because Independence sits alongside the Willamette River, if you see a blue sunny day in Salem and you drive over the river and into Independence, it's pretty common that you have super foggy Independence days where you can't see anything. And it adds this really cool spooky vibe that I, for one, think is pretty nifty. I touched on earlier that we get about 8 months of rain or gray or wet weather here in the Willamette Valley and Independence. But I promise you, you are gonna have rain amnesia once summer comes around, because our summers here are warm and drier and pretty comfortable in terms of temperature. Most summer days are going to be from 75 degrees to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, don't come after me, because we do have exceptions to this rule. We will have days that are over 100 degrees in the summertime, but that is not the constant norm. That is the exception. If you are somebody who enjoys those cozy, rainy vibes of the Pacific Northwest, you are really going to do well in Independence, because it is very, very cozy. Here in the Willamette Valley and in Oregon, we have 4 distinct seasons. So your summer is going to be nice and warm and relatively dry. Your fall is going to be when the rain starts and the leaves are crunchy before that rain hits. And then the winters, yes, they are going to be gray and wet. But then the springtime comes around and everything comes into bloom. And it is like a lifetime movie. It is so gorgeous in the springtime here. And because Independence is located right alongside the Willamette River, in the summertime, you can expect to see people frolicking and playing in said river. Some people even get their boats and jet skis out on the river, which is super fun to watch from the Riverfront Park in downtown Independence. If you're like, yo, Clarity, I don't want to play on the river, I just want to watch people. You can do that too. Do be mindful that the water of the Willamette River, in my opinion, is pretty dang chilly, even in the summertime. So this is usually just going to be a summertime activity to go frolic in the water, unless you are just a glutton for punishment and you like taking polar bear plunges. Let's move on to the cost of living as it relates to real estate in Independence. One of the largest reasons why my clients are moving to Independence is because the overall lower cost of living. If you are coming from a bigger city like Los Angeles or Seattle or even Portland, you are going to be shocked by the more affordable price tags for houses here in Independence. As of the summer of 2024, for the median home sales price for a single-family detached home in Independence was at $415,000. In Salem, Oregon, which is the next largest neighboring town, the median sales price was at $435,000. In comparison, a big city like Portland has a median home sales price of $555,000. And for my Los Angeles friends who are watching this video, where your median home sales price is at, I can't even say this number without like getting a pit in my stomach. But in Los Angeles, the median home sales price right now sits at $1.26 million. So let me back up and say again that the median home sales price in Independence, Oregon is at $415,000. That is a huge difference. And for the typical home that you're going to find in Independence for $415,000, you're generally going to find a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a little bit of yard and some privacy between you and your next door neighbor. So if you're looking for those small town Americana vibes, but you still want to be close to a bigger city like Salem or Portland, but you also like the idea of more affordable housing, then Independence should definitely be on your list. The other big draw for my clients who are deciding to move to Oregon is the fact that we don't have any sales tax. So this is going to be true for anywhere that you relocate in Oregon. When you purchase an item, you are not going to be taxed on that item or service. Instead of sales tax, we do have income tax, which is going to be progressive. So depending on what your income level is, you will be taxed between 5 and 9%. Property taxes in Independence, Oregon are going to be around 1-ish% of your home's assessed value. And after you purchase your house, the tax assessor from the county is going to come out to your new beautiful home and reassess the value. And based on that value, that is what you're going to be taxed on. And if you love the idea of living in a historic town with modern amenities, and you also want to live in a character-filled older home, you can make that happen in Independence. But the great thing about Independence that my clients love time and time again is the fact that there are also newer developments with contemporary homes that have larger square footages and updated amenities. And I, for one, feel like Independence is really growing, but it is still under the radar. And I anticipate that home values are going to rise in Independence because it is such a nice blend of being a small town, but still being really accessible and close to a place like Salem, which means that you've got that big city infrastructure like hospitals, larger grocery stores, and all of the other big city amenities that you might need ever so often. And I did just mention that Independence is close to a bigger hospital in Salem. And that's because healthcare is an incredibly important consideration for anyone who is moving to any location really. But in Independence, you are going to find local clinics and family doctors, and you're going to have that routine care available to you. But if you need a little bit more specialized care, you're going to be about 20 minutes away from the Salem Hospital. The Salem Hospital has an emergency room, it has specialized treatments, so you're going to have access to those doctors as well. If you're needing something a little bit more robust than what Salem can offer, your next best option is going to be traveling up north by an hour and visiting Portland and the hospitals that are up there. Let's talk about getting around Independence. Independence is a walkable town in the downtown area, and I do see that more people are riding their bike in Independence than when we compare it to a place like Salem. But overall, I am going to say that Independence is going to be car dependent. And I say that because it doesn't seem very feasible for most people to walk to the grocery store or walk to their favorite restaurant in Independence. Yes, I see people walking in downtown Independence, but overall, people are driving to get their errands done and to commute to work, so do be mindful that Independence is going to be a car-dependent town. Additionally, a lot of people who live in Independence actually work in Salem and take the 20 to 30-minute commute into Salem for their job. Although Independence and Salem are not that far apart when you look on a map, there is no easy way to get to Salem if you're coming from Independence, unless you are driving a car. And for my friends who love to travel and want easy access to an airport, the closest international airport is going to be the Portland International Airport, which is going to be about an hour's drive from Independence. This is a small detail, but I know for my clients specifically who are relocating to Independence, they still want to feel connected and have easy access to an international airport, but they want to live in a smaller town. And Independence, it strikes that balance really well. You are in a small town in Independence, but you are not so far removed that you are limited in terms of accessibility to airport and bigger cities. Everything is pretty close by in Independence if you are just willing to jump in your car and drive a little bit. Because Independence is located in the Willamette Valley around lush and green forests and rolling hills, there are a lot of farms and vineyards out by Independence, which means you are going to have easy access to really great fresh food and the great outdoors if you are somebody who enjoys going for a hike or a bike, or just a little adventure with your doggo. As I mentioned earlier, Independence is right along the Willamette River, so you do have access to river activities like kayaking or paddleboarding, or just throwing a stick in the water for your dog to get. But do be mindful that the Willamette River, as I mentioned earlier, is cold water and it is fast flowing. and it can be dangerous if you are not prepared. Safety spiel over. In Independence, you are only 45 minutes away from the Oregon coast, which means it is incredibly easy to have a day trip to a completely different part of the state. So if you love being outside, you love having day trips and easy access to an international airport, but you want those small town vibes, and you don't like the idea of living in the middle of nowhere, Independence is kind of this Goldilocks town because it offers you everything that a big city can without having to live in a big city. Independence has a tight-knit community that really loves to draw people together through its events and festivals throughout the year, and overall, it is going to offer you a slower pace of life. If you enjoyed this video, you're going to want to watch this one next. Bye, friends!